kind of bigger topic, and that is, did I spell DACA right? I don't think I spelled DACA right. I think I spelled DECA. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, so like what's going on in the news today? I think big headlines, definitely on AP, which I'm not an avid reader, but that's like kind of like my neutral news source that I usually go to. But it's basically just the whole situation on like the policy that's going on and how everyone wants it changed, and how, I mean, I'm not gonna get into it and saying like, oh, how like the left, this news is how just totally, you know, misleading a lot of what's going on. And we listened to earlier, before that we started recording, to Ben Shapiro just literally lay out what was actually going on, and how the process of different scenarios of what goes really on, and then why the reason why the law is in place, because it prevents like some kind of like gang or criminal that uses kids to get across the border as well. So I understand that part. What I want to know is like what your like thoughts are on like the whole situation.
I think that one thing that I learned recently, like just when we were listening to that, is that so a lot of what you hear is that like the people that are being detained like this, like they're not illegal immigrants, they're like claiming asylum, which is different, and like obviously claiming asylum is not against the law. What I learned recently that was really interesting is that like there are actually specific places that you have to go to claim asylum. You can't just walk up anywhere to the border. So like that definitely throws a wrench in like what those people are saying, because like they are technically, if you just like walk up anywhere on the border, like you are violating the law. Like you are by definition an illegal immigrant at that point. I think it's always it's not what you want to see, like all the pictures of like the cages, if you want to call it, which I mean by definition they are. Yeah. And then like families being separated like that, especially when it's like not the children's fault that like they're there. But I think that, I don't know like how far you want to get into like the policy or whatnot, but I think the policy that exists has existed for a long time, and it is for the benefit of the children. I think it may not, it doesn't appear that way, I guess, the way that it's being portrayed.
Yeah, there's going to be some cases where, you know, an innocent parent and with an innocent kid, you know what I mean, that gets separated. Right. But like that's just the process of what happened, and they weren't doing the right process of claiming asylum in the right way. Like you're saying, they weren't. There's different places, like I think it's,
you have to go to like a port of entry is like the technical phrase, and basically that means like any like actual border. So like the border in San Diego and like other places along like Arizona and New Mexico and Texas and all that. There's like anywhere there where like it is an established like border, not just like crossing the river or like crossing the fence somewhere or whatever. So that was interesting.
Yeah, there's I mean there's like, the unfortunate thing is like both sides are like throwing out like just weird stories. Just like I think there was a mother that was like worried about how like never seeing her kid ever again, like, when they got separated. But like I think in the policy, like you're not separated from your kid for no more than 20 days, depending on the situation.
No, the 20 days thing is they can't keep them together, detain families together for more than 20 days. They have to. The whole point of I believe it's called the Flores settlement.
So how many days are they allowed to?
They can only hold the children for 20 days.
Okay.
So then the children have to be released.
Yeah. So like
then there's a whole kind of like hierarchy of like who they try to release the kids to. So they like first try to find another parent or like the parents of the kids if they're living in the country already. And then it's like family, and then like legal guardian or like someone that the parents say can take the kids. And then after that it starts turning into like basically they end up in the system. So like the Department of Health and Human Services gets the children if they can't find any relatives. And so like that's when they end up like what you're seeing on the news a lot is like, just so like they basically end up like waiting for foster care.
Yeah, they're basically being processed. And like,
right.
I mean,
yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, maybe the method of holding them should be better, or that's just the way it just displayed. Obviously, not keeping them in the cage, maybe keeping them more of looks more civilized in a way. And also, I don't know. There's those stories on the right too, of like the guys crossing the border. I think it was San Antonio, where they had like a big old speed chase, or it was like an unnecessary speed chase, where I think they had 14 people in the car and like basically crashed or not got out of control in a high speed, and I think most of the people, more than half the people in that car perished. Unfortunately,
I think it was 6 or something like that. Yeah.
Was
I
it
remember.
I know
It was like I think it was
7.
like half maybe or something.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, stuff like that. It's just like it's unfortunate. Like this is like, well, not the where we're coming to. It's just like I think it's both sides not budging, but also just one side just like this is the law. This is what we're just doing. What's been in writing since I think Bush.
The Flores settlement thing happened in the 90s under Clinton, but like the specific, there was a law that was like one of Bush's last acts as president, and then like it was enacted when Obama first took office. Was like basically what you're seeing now. So yeah,
so basically it's been going on now has been going on
since like I think 2014, like the end of the. Was it 2014? The date sounds wrong there.
I think the latest, like because like they were talking about people. Well, because like Ben was talking about how they had people. He knew a guy, or he had a guy that was working with him at his old news organization, where they had evidence of this happening in 2014 under the Obama administration. Yeah. So it's been happening for a while, and it's nothing. It's not saying like, oh, this is like it's happening, so like just let it happen. But it's just like it's been a thing since Obama. So it's like it's surfacing a lot since obviously Trump.
The only thing that has changed is that Trump is just more strictly enforcing the law.
Yeah.
So like he's like literally defining everyone that crosses the border, whether or not they claimed asylum, as an illegal immigrant, and like unless they go and claim asylum at a port of entry, which like a lot of these people aren't doing.
Yeah, so they're not specifically doing what's supposed to be done.
Right. So it's because they're being classified as illegal immigrants that they're being arrested, and then once they're arrested, then they have to separate the children.
Yeah.
Because they cannot legally hold the children for as long as it will take for like the immigration hearing to come up, or for the adults to like their case to be seen and processed.
And then it's an unfortunate thing where like the other side probably doesn't even know. That's what they're supposed to do. They just cross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It sucks.
And it's something that can be solved. Like if Congress wants something different to happen at the border, like all they have to do is pass a law.
Yeah, just fix it in a way. But like that's a problem. Like what if they're gonna fix it because like they have like the midterm elections coming up, so it's like I think that's an issue because I think in that AP article they were talking about how a lot of or not a lot of, but there's some Republicans that just don't want to have this in the news or in sight. Just because like you have like the midterm elections coming up, so it's kind of like causing tension in polls.
I'd be curious to see what the polls are. I would be surprised if it wasn't in favor of like some sort of new law to stop this from happening. Just for like optics reasons. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It kind of hits for me personally a little bit of a gray area because I don't want to promote that sort of immigration. And I think that in some ways what is being done is a deterrent from that. And so it's like kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Something that like you don't want to see, but I almost feel like in some ways it's a necessary evil to obviously a minor extent. Like you don't want to see anything like bad happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the imagery that's going on. I think there's an ex-journal or colonel or general from the Obama administration that like was comparing that to like them separating kids in like Jewish concentration camps. Mm-hmm. I was just like,
yeah, I know.
That's just like that's unnecessary.
If you go on social media anywhere, it'll be like, oh, like this is how Nazi Germany started.
Yeah, and that's like, where like
no.
That's what again like where we are saying it's just like there's like people not understanding what's going on.
Yeah,
and like understanding each other's why the right's enforcing this or why Trump's enforcing this, and then why the left is like continually like not saying what's right in a way correctly. You know what I mean? Not what I mean. I think they have good hearts and good intentions, but for the result to having these kids not separated, but this is the way they're doing it. It's obviously aggressive and it's really nasty. And I think that's why like you might see what's going on with the midterm elections again.
Yeah, we'll find
Right,
out really,
so-
I guess, kind of how the public feels about this, like come November.
Yeah.
See like who gets voted in and out of office, and like if maybe one of the houses changes hands, and so like if the Democrats get the House or the Senate back, we'll see what happens. So.
Which will be weird. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.